What is up, everybody? It is showtime. I'm super excited about this show. I'm super excited to finally have Ken Moore on the show. I've been on other shows with him on Titan Upload. Of course, a lot of you probably know who Ken Moore is already, but we're going to dive into him a little bit more, what he does, his profession. We're going to dive into who the Titans have picked up recently, who we're using to replace the King. And just kind of have a good, relaxed, easygoing show. So let's get it started here, guys. So, all right, I'm going to bring Ken on in here. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Rossi? Good to be on the show, man. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. What's going on, Titans Nation?
Yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on. It's, I haven't had you on my show officially yet. So it's, man, I'm glad to have you on here. Got a lot of respect for what you do and your knowledge on the game and players and all that stuff. And we'll get into some of that too. But, I just kind of wanted to start off the show because I know, usually when you come on the shows, you talk about the Titans and all that stuff, but I kind of just wanted to talk to you and let the people know what it is you actually do as far as your commentating and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to talk about that, man. I blessed enough to be able to broadcast college football games for ESPN for the past several years now. I used to, when I first got started off doing high school football broadcasting, which I still love. I love covering the high school kids and covering those games, and I still do those when I have an opportunity. But I was able to branch out probably about 7 years ago and start doing college games with ESPN on ESPN Plus, ESPN3, a lot of their regional networks. And currently I'm covering the Southwestern Athletic Conference, which is FCS football. So you got schools like Jackson State that Deion Sanders coaches at, Alcorn State, where Fred McNair coaches, Steve McNair's brother, Grambling Southern, Texas Southern, Prairie View, Florida A&M. So all the schools in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. It's a really, really great conference. They have a lot of exciting football players. Some we expect to see in the NFL next year. And so, it's great. I got to call a game at Jackson State about 3 weeks ago. Their homecoming, 53,000 people, the largest homecoming game in SWAC history.
Wow.
I got to be on the call for that. So it's been a pretty exciting, pretty fun year. People know I have my own Titans show, Titans the Day After, and I've been so busy, man, I haven't been able to put together anything for my own show in the last, probably since week 2 of the season. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. And when you do these, so you commentate the games, like
I'm the color commentator.
You're the color commentator.
I'm the Troy Aikman of SWAC football.
Of SWAC, that's awesome. I was trying to look up some games of yours earlier. I don't know if I was looking for the right games or whatever. I know you do, multiple teams and stuff, but I'll definitely have to check that out, man. And kind of see what you do, how you do it. That's something. When I was in high school, we had a thing. I went to high school in Franklin, Tennessee. Did a high school called Page, and Division III football, but we weren't very good when I was there. But we had a senior project. Instead of doing a senior essay or whatever, we did a thing called a senior project, and we had to pick a topic, and the whole year I mean, we really had to like get in there and do stuff with it. You know, it was crazy. It was like a college thing almost. And I did sports journalism, and it was cool. I got to meet Mike Keith. I did an interview with him. And this was like when the Titans were first kind of coming around. I mean, I graduated high school in 2002. So,
Right.
and it was really cool. And I got to do, I wrote for the Williamson Herald, which was a pretty decent sized publication at the time. I don't know if it's still around, but I would write for women's soccer.
Okay.
And I didn't know nothing about soccer, you know, but it was kind of cool because I had to get into it. You know what I mean? Like I treated it like a job. And it was really cool. And I also got to do a little breakdown of the fall season, and they put some of it in the newspaper and stuff. And I always thought it'd be something cool to pursue. And I never kind of pursued it. I mean, now I'm doing this, so it kind of, you know, scratches that itch for me. But
right, exactly.
Do you ever get to meet any of these like coaches and stuff? Did you get to meet Deion when you called the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now it's been mostly Zoom, right? Because I'm in Houston, he's in Jackson. So typically how a week goes, you know, my week starts on Monday, where we'll get, I'll watch what they did on Saturday. So I'll go to YouTube or, you know, wherever their game was, and I'll study the films of the particular teams that I'm doing, typically on Monday and Tuesday, or on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we'll have the coaches' interviews typically on Thursday. Typically on Thursday is when we'll interview the coaches. And we typically interview the coaches on Zoom calls now, just because that's a lot more convenient to interview the coaches. So we'll interview, you know, the home coach and the away coach, probably for about half an hour. And then let me plug in my headset because it is tripping. Hold on one second, y'all.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. And you guys can follow Ken Moore on YouTube, K Moore Sports, and on Twitter at K Moore Sports. Okay. So check his stuff out there.
All right. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah. Coming in good.
All right, perfect. I think I'm gonna ditch the headsets because they're dying on me. But in any event, hopefully everyone can still hear me okay. So we'll do our coaches interviews on Thursday via Zoom. So got to interview Deion a couple of weeks ago. Coach, I've had 3 Alcorn games, so I pretty much know Coach Fred McNair now on a first name basis. So I've got to call 3 of their games this year. And then Friday is usually just like a prep day. I'm usually either traveling, depending on if I have to fly to the game or if I'm driving to the game. So I'm headed to the game usually on a Friday night, or maybe a Saturday morning. This past weekend I was in Baton Rouge, but it was a Saturday night game. So I just drove up, you know, Saturday morning, hung out, went to the game, and come back home on Sunday. Watch some NFL if I get an opportunity, check out the Titans, and then start all over again the next week. So it's not just, you know, what you see on Saturday when you're watching college football, or on Sunday when you're watching NFL action. These guys are prepping the entire week to call a football game. It's just like the players are prepping the entire week to play on the weekend. So it's the same way for broadcasters. We're prepping throughout the week. So when we get on TV, we know what the heck we're talking about.
That's awesome, man. So this is a day in, a day out gig, a job for you.
It's a second job. It definitely is a second job. It's a profession.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And thanks for sharing that too. I want to give a shout out to some of the people who are in here now. Some of the faithful are here tonight. Kent Woods, what's up, man? Clowney Super Bowl. Yo, Ken, they brought our boy Foreman back, and we'll get into that for sure. I wanna pick your brain about Foreman, because I know you got to know a lot about Foreman.
I do.
being from Texas and then with the Texans. David Abbott's what we're going to do against the Rams, and we'll get into a little bit of that too. Ryan Dodd, what's up, my friend? DBS, how you doing? Nancy Nicole, she says Titans learn to walk by faith, not by sight. Yeah, that's definitely true. Coming up, Titan Anderson, what's up, man? TA is a big supporter of the show, so shout out to him. Billy Scott, Ryan Harris, what's up, Ryan Harris? Y'all go check out Ryan Harris's new podcast, The Jump Pass. The Jump Pass T. I think it's at the Jump Pass TN on Twitter. Ryan Harris is our dude, man.
Ryan's a great supporter of all the channels, man, and all these guys in the chat, Kent and TA, all those guys support all of the channels, and we definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you guys hopping in tonight.
Yeah, man, for sure. And one thing I kind of want to stay on this for a minute, but like, who were your influences growing up? Like, did you have somebody who kind of taught you how to do this, or did you look up to somebody, maybe a favorite commentator, play caller, anything like that?
Man, I'm aging myself. But when I was a kid, man, watching Monday Night Football, before a lot of you guys were probably, before most of you guys were born, when, I grew up watching Monday Night Football with Howard Cosell and Dandy Don and those guys. And when the Oilers were in their heyday with Love You Blue, in the late 70s. And when they introduced the blue and white pom-poms and all that stuff here in Houston, a lot of people may remember that great Monday night game, 1978. If you haven't, go YouTube. It's one of the greatest Monday night games of all time. But that's when I fell in love with broadcasting because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. It was hard to go to the games and things like that. And I knew, one of my goals was to play football. But my second goal was, if I couldn't play football, I wanted to be involved in the game as a broadcaster. And my initial thought as a kid was, well, that's how I can get in the game free. Yeah, if I'm a broadcaster, I can get in free. I don't have to worry about paying for it. So just as I grew and learned more about the profession, in college, I got a chance to work at the NBC affiliate here in Houston, and Spencer Tillman had just retired from the Oilers, and Spencer Tillman got hired as the new sportscaster at the station I was working here in Houston. So he was a very good mentor. One, because obviously he was an ex-Oiler, he was an ex-49er, he was a Super Bowl champion, and he's a great dude as well. The only problem with Spencer is that he's a Sooner. He went to Oklahoma, I went to Texas. So, that was a problem. But other than that, man, great guy. He was very, very informative to me. And then obviously he's gone on to do great things calling college football games. So he was one guy that really helped me out a lot during my younger years.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, that's very cool. And my dad, he used to talk about the Cosell days and all that stuff, and Monday Night Football, and he loved Madden too. And Madden. When did Madden quit doing Monday Night Football? It's probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's probably been longer than that, man. Well, he was a staple on CBS with Pat Summerall.
Yeah. Did he do Monday Night Football?
He never did Monday night. No,
okay,
he was
CBS.
CBS.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the main CBS guy.
Before
Jim Nance, right? Before Jim Nance, I believe, took over for Madden as kind of the main guy with CBS, because Jim Nance used to be in studio, kind of the studio host, and then he moved to play-by-play. I want to say that was probably the 90s, maybe early 90s, since Madden's been gone. Yeah, it's been a while. A lot of people don't even remember John Madden as a coach and as a broadcaster.
I know, and he was a great coach too. Won a Super Bowl. So yeah, that's awesome, man. And what do you like better? Whether it's calling, watching, what do you like better, college or pro?
Well, I've never got to call pro. You know, that's a goal. That would be
Yeah.
tremendous to be able to do NFL games. But I love it, man. It's so much fun, especially when you get high profile games, like I've been able to call this year. Just the excitement of the crowd, you can really get into it. And it's almost like, being on your couch at home. I mean, you're screaming, you get into it too as a broadcaster. You don't really have an affiliation for the teams that you're calling, so you can call it, pretty much down the middle. And that's one of the important things about being a national broadcaster. Completely different than what Mike Keith does, because he's strictly, rooting for the Titans. He's able to root for his team. So that has to be pretty cool to be able to do that as well. But yeah, it's a blast, man. It's a blessing to be able to do it, and it's a lot of fun.
And Raul says Frank Gifford was good too. And I remember him, seeing highlights of him calling games and stuff too. And somebody that, I truly always loved was John Ward for Tennessee, the radio guy for the Vols. Like he was amazing, man. I'll never forget watching or listening to him, to give him 6 and all that. And of course, Mike Keith is awesome too. So I wanted to get in it, and a lot of people are kind of hitting on it in the comments too. And I appreciate all you guys in here tonight. I know Titans Weekly is live right now too, but I appreciate all you guys who are in here watching. Please like and subscribe. This channel is a part of the Titan Upload Network as well, and we just try to bring you guys good quality content, and bring it to you weekly and give you guys good stuff. So I do appreciate everybody who follows this channel. Go follow Ken Moore's channel, K Moore Sports. He's been doing it for a while, and dude is super knowledgeable, like you've heard already. But let's get into this. Adrian Peterson, Deontay Foreman. What you think about all of this, and I guess we'll just start on, Adrian Peterson. What do you think? Can he do enough to keep the run game afloat? Is this going to be? You think Foreman's going to have the hot hand most of the time?
I think in the Titans' best interests, you want Deontay Foreman to take that position, because he's the closest replica to what you had in Derrick Henry. He's big. He's not tall, but he's a big, strong kid who had very good speed. I don't know where his speed is now, because he suffered several injuries throughout the early part of his career. I know he had, I think, a torn ACL or a torn Achilles his rookie year here in Houston. And he's just had various injuries throughout his career. So I don't know where his speed is. But obviously he's younger. He's 10 years, 12 years younger than Adrian Peterson. He knows the offense because he was here last year. So he's familiar with the offensive line. He's familiar with Ryan Tannehill. He's familiar with this organization. With Adrian, he's coming in brand new. He's been at home on the couch the entire season. And my concerns with Adrian Peterson is what my concerns were when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked up Richard Sherman a few weeks ago. Yeah. Big name guy, future Hall of Famer, but he hadn't played football the entire preseason. And he comes in, and what happens? He gets hurt immediately because he's not really in football shape. There's a difference between being just in regular shape, but being in football shape.
Yeah.
Because it's high intensity every single play. You don't get a chance to ease your way into a football game because you'll get hurt real quick. So you have to be ready to go from 0 to 100. And that's what my concern is with AP. Can he come in? Can he be productive? But more importantly, can he stay healthy? And so that's my main concern. If Adrian Peterson can stay healthy, yeah, he can give you 7 to 8 carries a ball game. He can be a guy that can come in and protect on third down if needed. Maybe a good guy in goal line situations. But I don't think he's a guy you're going to be able to give the ball to, 12, 15, 18 times a game.
Yeah. And, Foreman played at Texas, played for the Texans. He was drafted by the Texans, right?
Correct.
I think so. The third round. He is a big back. He's like 235 pounds. Of course, we got to see kind of a small sample size of him last season. And a lot of the fans, he did okay. He did pretty well. He showed some speed and quickness for his size. I'm excited to see what he can do. Obviously, he's had the injuries, for whatever reason, he hasn't panned out like probably like, expected or whatever. But I agree with you on there. I think, a lot of the fans, they released video of Peterson today. Teron Davenport had like a 90-second video, and people were excited, and very well should be.
Mm-hmm.
Peterson's a legend. People are excited to see him on the field. You kind of replace a living legend with a legend. The question is, how much juice does the legend still have? And
right.
that's not a knock on Peterson by any means. If he's still got the legs under him, if he's still got that pop to him, I've heard a lot of people, and even some people in the media, kind of comparing him to Henry. And it's like, when I see both of them, and maybe I'm wrong, but when I see both of them, I don't see them having, yes, they're both physical runners, but Henry's more of a stiff arm guy, more of, Peterson's more of the way he runs, it's more, he likes to truck, like he'll just lower his head and shoulder into you. You don't really see Henry doing that a lot. You know what I mean?
I think you're absolutely correct. I really don't see any similarities, or very few similarities in their running style. Obviously, they're both very powerful men, right?
Yeah.
And they're very difficult to bring down if you're a safety or if you're a cornerback. You don't want to see those guys in the secondary. But Peterson's kind of more of a herky-jerky type running back, where Derrick Henry is kind of more your Eric Dickerson style, if you want to go back, kind of, run high, stepper type, stiff arm type. So in my opinion, two completely different running styles. But Peterson, he's tough to bring down. Like, it's very difficult for one guy to bring him down. Even last year in Detroit, he was able to get to the second level. Now, he doesn't have the speed that he used to have, right? You're not going to see Adrian Peterson running, 75, 80 yards for a touchdown. He'll get caught from behind,
Yeah.
But if he can get you those 15 to 18-yard bursts, if the offensive line can open up some holes, then he can be quite effective. As far as Deontay Foreman, I had the pleasure, I've been watching Deontay since he was in high school. Went to Texas City High School here in the greater Houston area. Has a twin brother, Amante. They both obviously went to the University of Texas. And Deontay has been a beast ever since high school. And Adrian Peterson is obviously a Texas high school stud as well from back in the day. So both of those guys have a rich legacy here in Texas in high school football. But I've been able to follow Deontay's career all the way from high school to college. He was a 2,000-yard rusher at Texas. And the unfortunate thing for Deontay is that he had a lot of carries his last 2 years at the University of Texas, which I think really robbed him of some of what he could have been in the NFL. And he's been working to get that back. In a running back's body, you only have so many hits. And I think a majority of his hits were used up at Texas. And by the time he got to the NFL, he was just worn down. So I'm hoping, being off the last year, he's been able to rejuvenate his body. I know he had a bad tragedy in his family recently that he's trying to overcome emotionally. So he should come in with a chip on his shoulder, very motivated. And this is probably his last and best opportunity to really make it in the NFL. So I expect to see the best version of Deontay Foreman for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point on that. It's definitely like if any running back wanted a golden opportunity, this is it. Like he's got a chance to really do something. Now, obviously it has a lot to do with the offensive line as well. Can they hold up? I don't. What's your opinion on their run blocking this season? Obviously, Henry's done what he's done. But I mean, is a lot of that Henry? Is it some of the line? Is it a mix? What is your opinion on their run blocking this season?
I think the run blocking has been really hit and miss, to be honest. I mean, Henry has a lot of yards after contact, right? So you don't want your running back getting hit 2-3 yards into the line of scrimmage. You want to have those large running lanes, and we really haven't seen that a lot this year. Even though Henry almost had 1,000 yards rushing, a lot of games it was 3.5 yards a carry, less than 4 yards a pop. So the running game's been good, but it hasn't been great. It's been a lot of carries to get to those 937 yards or whatever it was that he had. Particularly the last couple of weeks. Now, he played the last game with, a broken foot probably all the way from midway through the first quarter. So last week may not be a good example because, I think we saw Derrick Henry probably at 50% for the majority of that football game. But the previous week, he really struggled. The offensive line really struggled. And we had to depend on the passing game to kind of bail us out. I think he had less than 100 yards in that game as well. So the offensive line, and the offensive line has been beat up. We've seen Roger Saffold with get hurt multiple times in games, but you got to give him a lot of credit because he's a tough guy. He'll go down and he'll go out of series and he'll come back in. I think Taylor Lewan probably had his best game of the year on this past Sunday against the Colts. The right side of the offensive line, Nate Davis, he's kind of underperformed this year. He hasn't, we expected him to take that next step and kind of become close to being an all-pro level guard, but he really hasn't taken that next step. And of course, the right tackle position has kind of been a revolving door this year. So the offensive line is going to have to be much better. They're going to have to hold their blocks longer to allow these guys to get through the line of scrimmage. Ben Jones, he's been kind of banged up a little bit as well. So you have an older offensive line, and they're kind of worn down right now, but they're going to have to step up over the second half of the season to help these running backs out.
Yeah, and that's something I am concerned about because, like you said, I mean, a lot of I've seen the numbers too on his yards after contact. It's insane, I think he almost had as many yards after contact as the second leading rusher in Jonathan Taylor. I saw it at one point in the season. Maybe it was a couple games ago at that point, but yeah, I mean that's the one thing I'm concerned about is okay. You got Henry, who is a generational talent, right? I mean, we can all agree with that. And, are these guys going to be able to produce the offensive line, and get these guys open that maybe don't have the talent that that Henry has. So it's going to be interesting to see, and it's just going to be interesting to see. And I want to give a shout out again to some more people who are in there. Sin City Titans showed up, a big friend of the channel, a friend of mine. So shout out to him for sure. Houston 77. He's a Houston fan. He's always in there talking and stuff, but I do appreciate you joining in, man. You're welcome here anytime. But yeah, so he's always in there talking smack and stuff. But hey, we welcome that too, as long as it's good and friendly, I guess. Coda, what's up? Coda said he was watching on a split screen earlier with Titans Weekly, so I appreciate that. Let's Tighten Up Pod. They got a great podcast too. I think he's been on the show, or I've been on his show. So, give them a follow too, guys. Josh, what's up, man? No worries. I'm being late. I appreciate all you guys showing up. Titan 2K. Keisha Bible. Keisha, you're awesome. I just noticed you made me a mod. I feel honored. Yeah, I was going to message you earlier, Keisha, and ask you, but I figured you wouldn't mind. So I did. I made a few people. I figure I need some moderators now. So getting a few more subs built up. So you get a few more crazies in here. So got to keep the riffraff out. You know what I mean?
But Sin City had a comment. He said he disagreed with me on the running game. And the running game has been good. I don't want to poo-poo the running game. I mean, we're fourth in the league in rushing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of that is Derrick Henry creating on his own. So what I'm saying is they're going to have to hold those blocks longer because you don't have the best running back in the world back there anymore, right? Yeah. You got two guys that they just signed off the street, that was on the couch like me and Rossi last
Peterson
week.
Literally showed a tweet of him sitting on the couch with the Ninja Turtles thing on it in the blue. Yeah. I mean, he was literally sitting on the couch when he tweeted that. So, I mean,
it's not like we went and signed, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, or, a couple of guys that have been playing in the NFL. We got a couple of guys that just got off the couch. So offensive line is going, they can't let those guys get hit at the line of scrimmage and expect them to break it for a 60-yard run. That's not going to happen now.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I mean, and I see Sin City's point too, but exactly. I mean, when you, like I said, King Henry, Derrick Henry, he's a generational talent, man. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. And you got a guy like that in your backfield. I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, we're spoiled at Tennessee to have Henry and how durable the guy's been unbelievably durable, up to this point. A lot of people are kind of blaming the Colts turf. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I was watching a little bit of the Colts game tonight, and I swear I felt a little bit of a resentment. I was like, that freaking turf, man. And who knows? It could have been anything. He could have done it in the Kansas City game. We never knew,
Right. Right.
But yeah, I just kind of got that little feeling seeing that Christmas tree looking turf.
That turf is annoying to watch on TV.
It is, right?
Is a very good analogy. I'm like, man, that's just one of the ugliest green fields that you'll ever see. So,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know if it was wear and tear on his foot. My concern is we all want him back, right? Yeah. We all want him back for the playoffs. But we all have to remember as well, he's a big man. I mean, this guy's 6'4", 240, 250 pounds. And when you put all that torque on your lower extremities, that's a lot of weight bearance on his foot. And the last thing we want is for him to rush back and re-break it and re-injure it and put his career in jeopardy. But man, it was just such a bummer on Monday morning. I mean, it's like we couldn't even enjoy the victory over the Colts, because when that tweet came across, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, that just
devastating.
It just bummed me out the rest of the week, man. I'm finally coming out of it, but it really bummed me out the rest of the week.
Devastated, man. I got a text from Raul. I was at work. I hadn't really checked nothing yet. I wasn't expecting it, Nobody was. And Raul Garcia, he's in the chat here, but that was the first message I saw. And he said something like Henry's out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, man, this guy's crazy. Something's got to be. Nah, he saw something. Something ain't right. This ain't true. This is not true. I can't deal with this right now. I think a guy even asked me at work, he's like, man, why are you acting so quiet today and stuff? Because usually I'm pretty joking around and stuff, at work. And I was like, man, you ain't even gonna understand. I live in South Florida. These guys, they don't. A lot of people don't even watch football down here. That if they do, they're Miami fans, but it's just not. There's a lot of different sports teams down here, that people are into. But yeah, and I told him, he's like, and this guy's such a he doesn't know anything about football. Doesn't want. He's like, who's Derrick Henry? I was like, come on, man, just. Come on, man.
You don't want to conversate with those people.
Just close the door. All right. Just close the door to the office, man. This is not. Don't even say that, Something too, and this is something, I was wrong. I want to say this. I was wrong about McNichols before the season. I've said this before, and I will eat crow about this, but I was kind of under the impression with McNichols before the season. It's like, man, kind of just nothing special, this and that. But that dude has really showed out this season, especially in the pass game. I mean, that guy, he came through clutch in the Colts game. Especially early on in the season, he was really hot, but he has come through in the pass game big time. Now, I don't know how he's going to be in the run game. I'm sure he's going to get some carries. What do you think about McNichols running the ball? We've seen what he can do catching. What do you think about him running the ball?
I mean, we haven't seen him run the rock, right? I mean, even in preseason, it was Sargent that was getting most of the carries.
Yeah.
So the Rams just picked up, by the way, so he can try to give
him a playbook.
Okay. I saw that today. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know what he can do running the rock. We'll find out this week, because I expect him, to get the lion's share of the carries. I don't know how many carries AP or Deontay are going to get this week. They got to get comfortable in the system. So I would expect McNichols to get a lot of the carries, but he's been tremendous in the pass game. He really has a nose for where the first down marker is. He kind of reminds me of Nakeem Hines for Indy. I mean, Hines always kills us. He had a big game tonight against the Jets. Those kind of guys, they know where the first down marker is. And McNichols has gotten better and better and better each and every week, and doing a great job in the pass game. He's got excellent hands. He runs great routes. He's a football player. So I'm sure once he gets comfortable behind that offensive line, I think he'll be able to do some things. He has good speed. So if he gets to the second level, he's a guy that can break it and take it to the house if you give him a seam. So you just got to be diligent with him. Try to get him in open space. Set him up on the screen passes. The Titans have been very good in the screen game this year. So I would expect a lot of screen passes this week. And I would expect Todd Downing to really have a creative game plan against the Rams. A lot of people are picking the Rams this week. I think the point spread jumped up to 7.5. But the Rams don't know what to expect this week from the Titans offense. They don't know what the Titans are going to do offensively. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some wildcat. I wouldn't be surprised to see some jet sweeps. I wouldn't be surprised to see some some double passes. I mean, Todd Downing can go to town now with the offense, and the Rams are not going to know what to expect because we don't know what to expect from the Titans offense this week.
Yeah, and that's something I was going to bring up with you. Well, the Titans need to change their offense now. And Downing, I watched a press conference today with Downing, and he said, and one of the things he said, I might misquote it a little bit, but he said, it would be a disservice to this team to completely change it, to not at least stick to, some of the game plan. But obviously, we obviously all know, I mean, you're going to have to do some things differently. And obviously, here comes the time, right, in the season when players like Julio Jones we're going to need people like him, to step up and get in there. Now, Julio he's practicing, limited. We'll see if he plays this Sunday. We don't know. But having somebody like him to kind of take the pressure off and give you more options, even if he's not catching the ball, but I think he's in the game, he will. But I think that's going to be something that we're going to need guys like that to step up, man. Like it's time, I've heard a lot of people on Twitter and even Locked on Titans, that guy, and he's great. I've seen his show, but I've heard a lot of people kind of saying, let's sit all these guys who are kind of dealing with injuries right now. Let's sit them for this Rams game. Let's just sit them. Let's use it as an extra bye week and yada, yada, yada. What's your thoughts on that?
It's not how football works, man.
Yeah.
It's not how football
That's
works.
how I feel, man.
Yeah. I mean, if it's the end of the year, you remember a couple of years ago, I think we had the Saints. We played the Saints right before we played the Texans for the division championship, and that game really didn't matter. So I think we sat some guys in that game. In that type of situation, where it's a game at the end of the season that doesn't matter, yes, you can do that. You can't do that in week 8 or week 9. That's just not how football works. If you're healthy, you get out there and play. You only get 17 of these now. It used to be 16. Now you only get 17.
Yeah.
It's not baseball. It's not basketball. It's not hockey, where you have 80 games to play. You only get 17 of these guys. So unless it's at the end of the season and you've already clinched, or the game absolutely doesn't matter, then yeah, you can rest guys. But no, if Julio Jones is healthy, he's got to play. If Taylor Lewan is healthy, he's got to play. If David Long or Rashad Evans is healthy this week, those guys have to come back and play. If you're healthy, you go. It's no time to be sitting out because every game counts. Now, yes, the next game against the Texans, is it more important in this game because it's a division game and it's a conference game? Absolutely. If you could go in and say, okay, we're going to lose one and we're going to win one, obviously you'd rather beat the Texans than the Rams because it's a non-conference game. But you play every game to win because you take this game lightly and then next week, something happens in the Houston game, God forbid something happens to Tannehill, then you're really behind the 8 ball, right? So, no, you go into this ball game, blazing, and you try to pull it out with all your weapons.
Yeah, and I mean, and Tyrod Taylor might be back for that Houston. He might be back this week, and he was. I mean, I think he only played 1 or 2 games, but he was looking pretty good, and he's somebody that can move the ball on you. I've seen him play a lot, and he can move the ball on you. He's not a slouch. So yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, I never played a lot of football growing up, like as far as like organized football. Like I played high school baseball. I ran track. I was active. I played sports growing up. Um, from pee-wees to high school. And if you love sports, if you love playing a game, and I feel like the Titans this year, they're I'm not going to say the whole reason why they're winning some of the games. Maybe they weren't supposed to win or whatever. I think this team's got a lot of heart. I think they've really bought into what Vrabel is preaching over there. And if you went in the locker room and asked these guys, I'm telling you, these guys want to win this game. You know, let's not get it twisted. These guys want to go in there and they want to shock the world on Sunday Night Football and win this game. I definitely guarantee you Kevin Byard wants to win this game.
Oh, man, I mean, I think it was last year when we got embarrassed on Sunday night up in Green Bay, the snow game. And then these guys, Sunday Night Football, I mean, it's the new Monday night, right? Everybody's watching. It's a huge game. The two of the better teams. I mean, it's almost a Super Bowl preview. One of the best teams in the NFC against the best team in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that Derrick's not going to be there for it. But even with him gone, it's still a huge, huge game nationally, because you've beaten Kansas City, you've beaten Buffalo, you've beaten Indy. This was the toughest 4-game stretch of the season on the schedule. And if you run the table and go 4-0 after you lost to the Jets, I mean, what a message that sends to the NFL and sends to everybody that, this team is for real. This team is not just Derrick Henry and 21 other guys out there playing football. So, darn right, this team wants to go out and prove that they're more than a one-man show.
Yeah, man. And congrats to Kevin Byard, AFC Defensive Player of the Month from the season that he had, last season to now. It's pretty incredible. And he's back, man. And he's one of those guys. And I said before, I was on Bring the Juice, one of the Colts YouTube. They're like the biggest Colts YouTube. They invited me on for the preview show before the game. And I said, Kevin Byard is going to need to make a play in this game. I just felt like he was going to need to, and he did, and so shout out to him, man. He's been absolutely killing it this year. Guys like David Long showing up, guys like that have just been flying around making plays. Jeffrey Simmons been on the injury report this week. He hasn't practiced the last couple of days. That's concerning, not having him. If he doesn't go Sunday, I feel like that's a huge, massive loss, So hopefully whatever he's dealing with, I don't really know. Maybe some of the guys know in the chat. I don't know exactly what he's dealing with, but hopefully it's nothing too serious and he can get in there and produce. I'm going to bring it to this next point, and this is just, do you think the Titans have a chance against the Rams? Do you think, in your professional opinion, do you think they even have a chance at all against the Rams?
I honestly think the Titans have a great chance to win this football game. Again, the Rams don't know what's coming this week. It's hard to game plan for a team after they lose their best player, because you don't know what the offense is going to look like. You have no idea what Todd Downing and Mike Vrabel have in store. So on the offensive side of the ball, they're probably not. I think a key, and you brought it up earlier, is having Julio Jones on the field, because that will negate the Rams from double teaming A.J. Brown. Because without Derrick Henry, and if Julio Jones is not available, then the Rams can concentrate. They can put Jalen Ramsey on A.J. Brown, and then they can have a safety over the top. So if they take A.J. Brown out of the game, then that obviously makes things a lot more difficult for Ryan Tannehill and his offense to navigate. So I think Julio Jones is a critical factor in this ball game. So assuming Julio plays, and he's been at practice this week, so assuming he can get out there and he can play for 4 quarters. I mean, just playing for a half, and then we don't see him in the second half. Julio Jones needs to be on the field for 4 quarters on Sunday night. If Julio Jones is on the field for 4 quarters Sunday night, I think the Titans have an excellent chance of pulling the upset. If we can get Jeffrey Simmons healthy, and really the key, you brought up Kevin Byard, but it's really been that defensive front 4.
Oh, yeah,
for
definitely.
the Titans that are putting pressure on quarterbacks and forcing quarterbacks to get rid of the football. When you got Bud Dupree and Autry and Harold Landry is having an all-pro type year, along with Jeffrey Simmons, that's one of the best front 4s in the NFL. And front 4 is the secondary's best friend. We saw what the Titans were the last couple of years when we didn't have a pass rush. Kevin Byard looked terrible. Everybody looks terrible. Well, it's hard to look good if you're in the secondary and guys have 8 seconds to get open. But the guys don't have 8 seconds to get open anymore. And that's a great value to Kevin Byard and those guys in the secondary. So if that front 4 can get pressure on Matt Stafford and Julio Jones can show up and give us 4 quarters of football, yeah, darn right. I think the Titans can pull the upset.
And I know the Rams have done a great job protecting Stafford this year. I think they might be first in the league in sacks or whatever, or preventing sacks. But, have they really faced the front 4 like ours yet? I don't think they have. I know they've played Tampa Bay. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I know coming into the Colts game, the Titans front 4 had 9 sacks in the last couple of weeks, and that was most in the NFL. And of course, Landry, 8.5 sacks. He's, I think, either tied for 3rd in the league or he's 3rd in the league in sacks. So, yeah, man, that's going to be crucial. Oh, man, that's going to be super crucial in this game. And if you guys in the chat have any questions for Kent, by all means, please put them in there. I know I saw Two Tone Zone in here. So what's up, guys? Love those dudes, man. They're awesome. Mark Jones, thanks for tuning in too. DO9 Motivation, what's up, buddy? Josh says Jalen Ramsey knows the Titans, though. I mean, it's his hometown team. Yeah, he grew up watching the Titans. I saw that recently, a story about that, how he grew up watching the Titans and stuff like that. Keisha says, I think Landry is tied for 2nd. They usually play good in those unis. I don't know what uniforms they're wearing.
They're wearing the all blue.
Okay, nice.
The like dark blue. Not the Columbia blue, though. Yeah, the dark blue. They normally play real well in those, yeah.
I love those uniforms, man. I think they're awesome. Another thing, what do you think? It seems like, has Janoris reclaimed the name Jackrabbit yet? Like, it seems like he's starting to play a little better the last couple games. Now, the defensive line has been playing lights out, like the point you just made. But you think he's starting to kind of, get it together a little bit?
Seems like he has. He hasn't had those horrible blunders like he had early in the year. I didn't see a lot of mistakes in the Indianapolis game, or obviously the entire defense played lights out against Kansas City 2 weeks ago. So yeah, he's gotten better. No, I'm not going to call him Jackrabbit. I'm going to call him Janoris. Because I was calling him Turtle early in the season because he looked so slow. So he's graduated from Turtle back to Janoris. But yeah, I'm going to retire Jackrabbit until further notice. But he has played better the last couple of weeks. There's no doubt about that. Now, he's going to have his hands full this week because the Rams, they have tremendous receivers across the board.
Yeah, man.
And if you guys haven't seen Cooper Kupp play, Cooper Kupp is having a all-pro
top
type season. They will line him up in the slot. They will put him in motion. They will put him in the backfield. So the Titans have to recognize where Cooper Kupp is at all times because Sean McVay will line him up all over the field, and being able to match up, identify personnel groupings, identify where guys are lined up in the backfield. That's going to be very critical in this ball game. You know, when you're watching the game on TV, there's a lot of stuff going on that, you know, you don't see the substitutions coming in and out and things like that, or pay a lot of attention to where guys are lining up. But the Rams use a lot of different formations, and they move their receivers around a ton. So it's going to be very critical for the Titans to identify where those guys are in the secondary. And we've seen a lot of times where the Titan secondary gets confused and you got guys running wide open on the back end. So that's going to be a critical piece in this ball game.
Yeah, man, he's dangerous. I've seen a lot of highlights of him this year, and he's super dangerous. I've always liked him, you know, his style of play and everything, but he is dangerous. And Keisha was asking this too. Stafford did not practice today because of a sore back. And let me find Keisha's comment here. She says, "Do you think Stafford is hurt? They say it's just soreness, but he hasn't practiced." You see anything about that? Or
I have not. I didn't look at Rams Twitter today, so that's actually news to me, Keisha. Thank you for bringing that point up. So I didn't see anything, you know, in watching the national sports shows today. They didn't mention anything about Matt Stafford, so I'm assuming he's going to be okay. If he's not, obviously that's good news for the Titans. But I would assume that he's playing.
Yeah, they did mention, Keisha, that they didn't expect him to be out of the game. And I mean, Stafford's been in the league a long time. He probably has a sore back every week. You know what I mean?
My back is sore right now.
Yeah, and Stafford is a tough player. Like he's been known to play with some injuries. Like Stafford is a good quarterback. It's, you know, we're definitely going to have to get pressure on that dude because he can hurt you. And, you know, everybody said when he got traded to the Rams, they're like, okay, now Stafford has a team. You know, it was like this was the storyline. Stafford finally has a team. He finally got out of Detroit. And you see Jared Goff in Detroit. I mean, the poor guy, like, I mean, he's just struggling big time. And, you know, Stafford is he's showing like he's on that level. And it's going to be interesting to see how Bowen approaches this game, you know, because I don't think we've really faced a quarterback like him all season as far as the type of veteran he is and that kind of pure pocket type. And Stafford's got he can run a little bit, you know, but
he's a great athlete.
He is. He can hurt you there sometimes too. But as far as just the type of passer he is, I don't know if we've really faced anybody like him all season.
Yeah, I you know, and I have to eat some crow on Matt Stafford too, because when the trade was made and early in the year on my show, you know, I was fading the Rams. I was like, man, I just don't believe in the Rams. I don't believe in Matt Stafford. I don't think you can play that long in a league as a quarterback and not have, you know, any type of playoff success. But he's proven me wrong. I mean, he's got a great coach in Sean McVay, top 5 coach in the NFL. He's surrounded by a lot of talent, but he makes plays, and he's a tough guy. He will play hurt. You have to, even in Detroit when they were losing, you'd have to drag him off the field for him not to play. He truly loves the game of football. He plays football because he loves the sport. And there's a lot of guys in it just because, it's financially rewarding for them and they're big, strong kids and, they can just get out there. But Matt Stafford is a guy that loves football, eats it, breathes it, sleeps it. And he's proven me wrong so far this year. So hopefully the Titans can go in and, upset him.
Yeah, I think he's only thrown 1 pick all year, too. And Ian Talley said this little nugget dropped here. Ramsey left practice early today due to knee soreness. So, that's something to keep an eye on, too. If he's out, then, we could maybe expose him a little bit, and see what happens. And, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We got 20 people in here. It's kind of late, And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Go follow Ken Moore as you hear tonight. And I'm sure a lot of you already know who Ken Moore is, but go follow him, K Moore Sports on YouTube, at Twitter. Show him some love. Subscribe to his channel. The dude puts in work, not only on YouTube and Twitter, but in his daily life. The guy's a professional commentator and all that stuff too. So show him some love over to his channel. I'm going to start wrapping it up, man. It's 11:30 where I'm at. I got to get up early for work, but any other thoughts you got, anything like that? And, we'll kind of start closing out the show here.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a great year so far for the Titans. I think there's a lot of great things still in store for this ball club. We have a favorable schedule the second half of the season. 2 shout outs I definitely want to give is one to Randy Bullock. I was real hard on Randy Bullock when he came to Tennessee because he's been an okay kicker, throughout his career. But he's always been one of those kickers that would make 3 or 4 field goals during the game and then miss the one at the end. And outside of the Jets game, he got Player of the Week, Special Teams Player of the Week this week. So I got to give a huge shout out to Randy Bullock. He's done a great job. He saved a couple of games for us, won a couple of games for us. And he's really solidified the kicking position for us. So I got to give him a huge shout out. And I definitely got to give a shout out to Mike Vrabel, man. I mean, Mike Vrabel, we get on him, but he lost Arthur Smith. They got blown out that first game of the year against Arizona. But he's really done an excellent job having this ball club prepared each and every week. Obviously, we had a lot of guys out when we went to play the Jets and lost that game with no wide receivers. Stuff like that happens. But he's really had this team prepared. So I got to give a lot of shout out to Mike Vrabel too, man. He's done a great job this year. And if he can get this team, where it needs to go without having his best player, he's got to be in the running for Coach of the Year at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, Vrabel's been pretty awesome this year, and I was talking with TA about this, like with the injuries we've had, the adversity that we've had. I mean, to be 6-2, we should be ecstatic. You know what I mean? Like we had Greg Maben starting against Tyreek Hill against the Chiefs. Now, a lot of that had to do with the pass rush, but you know what I mean? There's been some key pieces. It's unfortunate that Christian Fulton hasn't been back in practice this week, or because a lot of fans were hoping to see him back. So hopefully by next week he'll be getting back, unless he just pops up at practice tomorrow or something. You never know. So Sin City Titan says, Ken Moore is one of the most knowledgeable Titans fans we have. I appreciate having him on our side. Bruce James Realty, another strong supporting chance the Titans get a win. Not sure how the Rams can game plan considering Ken. And we talked about that extensively earlier. So check that out later on, Bruce James, and I appreciate all your support. Keisha says, what do you think about Adam Rank picking us to win this game? He was the only one. He picked us during the Bills too. I don't know. I mean, I think this guy just does it for clicks or clout or whatever. But
I don't watch a lot of Adam Rank. I mean, I mean, no disrespect. I just don't have time to watch him, you know. But he picked us to win. I mean, cool. I think we got a shot. You know, I really, and that's not me being a homer. I really, really, really think the Titans have a shot at winning this ball game. But I think we got to have number 2 on the field. I think Julio Jones has to be on the field.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And you know, I think if there's one team that can do it, it's us. You know, I mean, Vrabel's had him prepared. He's got that next man up mentality, like going 100%, 100 miles per hour in that locker room. I mean, that's something they actually, and I've heard the coaches talk about how they preach on it. So he's got that going, you know. And Paulie D says, what's Jayon Brown's status? I'm not sure. I saw the injury report earlier today, but I'm not sure what his status is. I think he was a limited participant. I think I got a screenshot of it here. Let's see, Jayon, where is he at? I don't even see him on the injury report. I don't know. I don't know what's up with Jayon. If any of you guys know in the chat, let us know. Do you heard anything about Jayon?
No, I haven't. I'm not sure. I feel bad for Jayon, man. He's a good kid, and he just hadn't been able to stay healthy the last couple of years. Now, did he play a lot against the Colts with Evans out?
I don't think he played. I don't know if he played at all against the Colts. I think he was out that game because I think Monty Rice was getting quite a few snaps, and maybe I'm wrong, but if he didn't play much at all. And I don't remember him I don't remember seeing number 55 out there. So I don't think he did. I think Monty Rice was maybe playing some. Avery Williamson didn't get a lot of snaps. Of course, he's gone now. They released him. But
I don't see him on the injury report, which is a good thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, he should be back this week. I think I've heard that he would be back this week. So Josh says Monty Rice actually looked kind of decent. Yeah, I think they're kind of liking what Monty's been doing here recently. So we'll see. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Ken, I appreciate you coming on so late. I know you're on Eastern time too. You're in Texas, right?
Yeah, Central time for me. So it's about 10:40.
Oh, you're Central time. Okay. So it's not too late for you there. So
not too bad.
I really appreciate you coming on, man. It's been long overdue, and I would love to have you on again. I know, you're a huge supporter of Titan Upload and a lot of these guys out there, and I know the Titans community really appreciates you. So, we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate the invite. Obviously, I always love participating with the guys in the chat and ladies in the chat as well. Thank you all for chiming in. Thank you all for your kind words. It's much appreciated. So, definitely go check out my channel, K More Sports. It's been kind of dormant the last couple of weeks, but once we get into December, I think I have about 3 more college football games. By the way, go to ESPN Plus. If you're a subscriber of ESPN Plus, look up any Southwestern Athletic Conference game. You may find me calling the game. I'm off this weekend, and then I have 2 games. I think 2 or 3 games remaining the rest of the year. And then once December rolls around, I'll be back doing my weekly shows on K-More Sports. We'll have Titans the day after, usually on Monday night after the Titans play on Sunday. And then usually on Sunday mornings, we'll have a preview show. So those will return sometime in December. But I appreciate all of you guys. Rossi, I appreciate you having me on the show. Know you got to get some sleep. Everybody, tighten up.
Yeah, tighten up, man. We'll see you later, man.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So there it is. There's Ken Moore. He's awesome, man. We're, like I said, there's not really much that needs to be said. His reputation speaks for itself. So awesome dude, and a lot of love for Ken Moore at the Titan Upload Network. I really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I know it was a little later show than I usually do. We got 19 in the house. We've had 25, 30 at one time. So I really appreciate all you guys tuning in. I'm going to get out of here because it's Eastern time here. It's 11:40 here, and I got to get up about 6:30 in the morning. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a great show. Please like and subscribe, guys. And Paulie D, I appreciate you too. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're close to 600 in 4 months. We're almost to 580. That's unbelievable. I mean, it's YouTube's not easy. It's not easy to get subscribers. It's not easy to make the content and do all this stuff and to keep it going. So I really appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the Titan Upload Network. So thank you guys very much. We'll end it on this comment from Mark Jones. Tighten up. Sin City says, we love the late shows. Sin City's a night owl. He works nights, so I know he really likes the late shows. And also, guys, another little update here. I'm kind of switching careers, and I'm going to be getting some weekdays off. So I'll be doing some morning shows. So, the only Titans morning show is A to Z Sports out there. So be looking forward to some morning shows. I might be doing maybe 2 of those a week because, like I said, I'll have a couple of days during the week off for a little bit. So be looking out for that. That'll be something cool to do. So you'll have more than just, it's not a knock on A to Z or nothing, but you'll have more, somebody else to kind of go to too on YouTube during the week. So that'll be pretty cool. So be looking out for that. I know Sin City will like that too, because he'll have, like he said, he just says, I love the morning shows. Let's give those alphabet guys a run for the money. Yeah, I'm down to do that, man. Let's do it. So, anyways, guys, I'm checking on out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys absolutely rock. Y'all have been going beast mode for me, so I do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Click that subscribe button, click the like button. Let's get to 50 likes. Every show has been getting to 50 likes. It's been phenomenal. The interaction, the views have been going up. The interaction has been awesome. Y'all been killing the like button for me, so I do appreciate that. And you guys have really been killing it as far as that goes. So anyways, I'm getting out of here. Like we say at the Titan Upload Network, tighten up that like button. Tighten up. Let's go. We got a chance against the Rams on Sunday. Don't let anybody tell you that we don't. We do have a chance. This team is Tennessee tough, and we're going to try to get it done on Sunday. Let's go. Tighten up.